Hello guys, welcome to my channel. Today we are going to talk about how we can install Laravel Sail on our new project, and we're going to take a look at the last note that we have in our documentation about things where you publish your Docker file, you change something, and you also, in that case, you need to change the Docker image name so that container name is going to be different, and we're going to tick those kind of things too in the end. For now, let's take a look at the documentation. I'll put myself down here near this 3 people, and here we go. I already have a newly installed Laravel project. It's called Draft for Videos. It's the project I constantly create to do some videos. And here we have an introduction to Laravel Sail, and it says here, Laravel Sail is automatically installed with all new Laravel applications. All right, but if we come here, we won't see the docker.compose file, which it should actually provide. So let's go with the documentation. It says installing Sail into existing application. So we need to first run composer require Laravel Sail, and when Laravel says it's already installed with new application, it means only this command is done. Even though the next command talks about install, and when Laravel says it's already installed, it kind of seems like you don't need to run this one. But that's a little bit of a cumbersome understanding of it, because what it actually says is just it's downloaded, but you have to install it if you want to use it. So we're going to go ahead, open the terminal, and install Laravel Sail. Before that, I want to see if my first commit is done. Yes, because if we make our first commit, further on we can see what kind of different changes the package is doing to our application. Okay, let's go back to the terminal. We're going to use MySQL. And that's basically it. In the beginning, when you just do the installation, what Laravel Sail is going to do is just make a container Laravel test that actually opens your application and node, and also they add the MySQL. But if you read the documentation, you will see that you can add another services too. So after installation, Laravel added 2 documents. One of them is compose file with Laravel test in it, and also MySQL. If you run the scripts like sail add mailer, for example, sail add some and other things, the document, this Docker compose file document, is going to be added with more services like this. For now, we have only Laravel test and MySQL. That's okay, that's fine. And if we look at the documentation, it says Laravel, Sail 8.4 app. That's the name of the image that it's going to refer, that it's going to install the image from. And what else do we see? We also see the context here, that it talks with the vendor Laravel Sail runtimes 8.4. So it gets the Docker files, actually Docker file itself from the vendor. And basically it. All right, Docker compose.yaml file here, PHP unit here. Okay, let's take a look what next we should do. After installation, we can just do vendor sail up, and it's going to start our application. Awesome, let's do it. All right, it looks like containers are running. Let's see. Yes, here our project. Here's the containers inside, and if you take a look at our port 8080, we're going to say that application is running. It just says that there is no the tables, that we didn't write the migrations. With that, let's go to the documentation. Let's search for word migrate. It should say something. Oh, here. So it says Sail artisan migrate is enough to run your migrations. So you don't need to do Sail PHP artisan migrate, even though Sail PHP means basically as if you are writing PHP. So if you want to start some file, you can say Sail PHP and whatever PHP script you want. But for the artisan commands, you don't need to write PHP. You can just directly say Sail artisan migrate. Let's do it. All right, since our things are migrated, it should run, and it says read manifest not found. All right, so it means that our read project, which this project is actually a Vue project, that's why we need to open the read server. For that, maybe we can do sail npm. Is our npm installed, by the way? Our npm isn't installed here. I don't see node modules, so we're gonna see sail npm install, and it works fine. It should be fast. All right, now since we have an npm, we can say sail npm run dev to open the dev server in Vite. Now, for sure, this should be running, and yes, our application is running. So that's pretty awesome, pretty easy, and you can already start developing. If you read the documentation, there are a lot of stuff where you can start your tests. What I like about Sail is just your test environment is installed directly, and the only thing what you have to do is just Sail test, and it works. You don't need to do any tweaking at all. And from now on, once you have a Docker, you can start your application with just one click to your this Docker project, and it works fine. Now let's take a look at the last notice that Laravel given here that I want to explore myself, and I would like to do it with you guys. It says, since Sail is just Docker, you are free to customize nearly everything about it. To publish Sail's own Docker files, you may execute Sail publish command. Okay, I really want to see what Sail uses, what kind of Docker files it uses, and how we can tweak it by myself. So I'm going to run it. And if we see a bunch of Docker files and configuration files is added here. And in my folder, I see that the new Docker file is created in my project. In there, I see this 8.0, 8.1, 8.2, which might be referring to the PHP versions. So I'm going to install some PHP version with, I want to install a Docker with different PHP version. So far in my Docker file, I have a PHP version 8.4. And if you guys noticed, before it was vendor something something here. Now since we published it, it's referring to the Docker folder in our root path. Okay, 8.4. I want to change it. I want to install PHP 8.2. Let's first of all take a look at the documentation, what it says about the PHP installation. Maybe if we say PHP and a little go back, it will tell me PHP Artisan Sail. All right, executing PHP commands. PHP commands may be executed using the PHP command. Of course, these commands will execute using the PHP version that's configured for your application. Okay, not really what we look for. It's running tests. PHP versions, here we go. Thank you for the waiting. So what does it say? Sail currently supports serving your applications via PHP. The default PHP version used by Sail is currently 8.4. That's also what we see in our Docker file. It's here. The default PHP version is 8.4. You should update the build definition of the Laravel.test container in your application's docker compose.yaml file. So what it says, just change the context if you want to change the PHP version, the last thing. So there's no magic about it. Just go to your compose file and change it. In my case, it should be 2 then. In addition, you may wish to update your image name. So it's again saying what's said in the last one. It says, in addition, you may wish to update your image name to reflect the version of PHP being used by your application. This option is also defined in your application's docker compose.yaml file. All right. So what it basically says is that if you did like this, make sure you are also changing this. Because if you don't change this, Docker is going to go to your Docker file, Docker installation desktop, go to images, do like this, and it says, oh, you already have that name. So I'm not going to even take a look at this folder now. Where's that folder? I'm not going to even take a look at this folder now. Since you have this image, I'm going to just take this one. But if you guys noticed, even though our name says 8.4, our configurations is 8.2, but Docker is not going to go deeper like that. That's why when you say, hey, get the configuration of 8.2, you also need to change a name saying it's the new configuration that Docker need to go deeper and install all the configurations again. And Laravel also adds the configuration of no cache. So you don't need to look at the caches of other Docker installations and stuff. But at this point, let's just catch that mistake. Let's not do it. Let's not change the image and see what's going to happen. So we change the configuration and ask a Docker to look at the PHP's 8.2, but we are not changing the name. We're going to delete all our containers. We deleted it. Since something changed in Docker file, Docker should actually maybe look at this and try to install the image again. We're gonna do sail up D. And if you take a look, it already ran our 2 containers. And you might be thinking, if you come here and say PHP version, what did I write wrong? All right. It says 8.4, even though we said that the context should look at 8.2. It's exactly because of an image naming problem. If you change the context to make it 8.4, make sure you also change it to the 2, or at least just completely change it to the, for example, draft videos. And in this case, what we have to do is not just a run, but also do build first here. So again, can just delete them first. And since we got our new name, different name, actually, I don't think we need to do even this sail build. We can just do sail up this should be enough. It should completely directly change the image we are referring, try to find that image. If there's no that image, it should install that image. And while installing, it's going to look at the context and find out that it's 8.2 and install the proper project. So we're going to just do sail up D. And yes, it's running our images. We're going to take a look if it takes something from cache. If it takes something from cache, it might be that it's not catching exactly our, so it took some cached here work deal from HTML. The reason why we need to do no cache, because even though it's the new name and new context, some of the applications that you are saying to install is already installed by other Docker images. And Docker is smart enough to just say, hey, I already installed it because it was needed to another guy. Let me just get that thing again here on this project. And that's why if you guys see cache, it might have a risk of our context of 8.2 not being applied. But if it's applied, it's good. If it's not, we're going to just run the same thing with no cache additional command. Okay, it seems like it's going to take a little longer. So let me pause the video. All right, installation of images finished. And since we did up D, the containers started running right away. And if we go to our Docker, we can see that containers are running. Let's go ahead and check the PHP version of this container now after our modifications. And it's 8.2. It got the proper image, which is, I believe it was something about draft videos. And draft videos, in its own case, is built in the context of 8.2 that we notified here according to the Laravel project. So that's it, guys. If you want to work with different kind of PHP versions, you can do it with Laravel Sail. If you want to give a boot start to your application right away, start working on it, Laravel Sail is the best option. And yeah, I think nowadays everyone should start their projects and run their environment in a Docker and in Laravel. It makes it very easy with Laravel Sail. Thank you for now. Bye-bye.